Come on. So now we're just taking off the bolts here for the axle, which are... There's two, one in here and one right there. And they are a 13 millimeter.
So to remove the transmission, there's, I think 6 bolts, and you have to remove the linkage for the emergency brake, and you have to remove the linkage for your forward and reverse pedals. So we chose to remove the linkage right at the forward and reverse pedal. So this rod slipped through that hole and on the other side here, and there's this piece of metal right here. Now on the rod there's a bump. You see that bump? That bump has to be slid through at the right angle on the pedal to slide through this hole. And once you get all of that slid through, you can pop that out.
With the wheel straight.
With the wheels straight. Now on the end of that rod, to get it removed, there's a clip. I used a screwdriver to peel
that clip right there.
That clip off. Alright, to remove the emergency brake linkage, there is this rod here. And on the end of this rod fits into this lever. There's a funny shaped clip and a washer that go on the bottom of that, and that just pulls out. You got to twist it a little bit and that pulls out, and then push the whole assembly up off of the hole in this bracket. You might need a friend to help wiggle the brake pedal or the clutch pedal to get that off. Then the next thing is to get the belt off. Alright, so we are removing the transmission. We've got the 2 bolts on the axle loose, and there's a bolt that goes right here for the front support of the transmission. So you have to remove that bolt, and there's one on the other side just like it. Those get removed. And the 2 bolts for the axle right in the center of the screen there get removed too, and same on the other side for the other side of the axle. There is a metal pin that needs to come out for the belt. You need to get that pin out so you can get the belt off. We got the tractor, the back half of the tractor jacked up. Now we're working on getting this pin out so we can get the belt off. And then after that, we need to slip this rod through for the disengagement for the transmission.
One more thing to note, you need to undo this wire right here for the forward and reverse pedal, so you know this, it's a safety switch. So don't forget to undo that. To get the body of the tractor off, we had to use a little bit of ingenuity here. The steel beam tied to another chain, and then the cable going the whole way down, and we hooked the come along into the hitch. And actually this thing weighs more than you think, huh? Yeah. So that is the transmission for the most part out, and we're going to drain it overnight and come back to it again tomorrow. Here's what the transmission looks like out of the tractor, and boy, this is a little transmission to propel this thing. To take the fan off, there is a, what is this, a snap ring? Yeah. Boy, does that look a little rusty too. Alright, we pull that out. That should come right off. Maybe, yep. So there's our pulley. I don't think that'll have to go out. I think this is the fill here. I'm not 100% sure.
We think this is the breather.
I think that, yeah, we think this is the breather. So now we've got the fan off, and there is this little washer here. It's a curved washer, and the pulley should just come right off. And then this clip here should stay with it. So we've decided to leave the pulley on here. We don't think it's going to be in our way, and we are just putting the clip back on so we don't lose anything in here. Actually, that washer still comes right off. So, all right, we'll have to remember to put that back on. So the moment we've all been waiting for, this I think is the drain and fill cap. Oh, there's a magnet already, and there is some metal flake on there. So there is some oil in the bottom.
Well, it looks relatively clean.
Well,
Probably not once we drain it.
Well, it needs changed anyways. We're not just filling it up. So you want to roll. So where do you want the cap at?
That in the parts holder.
No, that's got the magnet on it. So bring that up. Bring that parts holder up off the ground. Bring it up off, and we'll put it on the tractor.
Why?
Because the ground's full of metal shavings. All right, so the big pour. Oh, hold on. Okay.
All right, there she's going.
Now you're gonna have to. Oh man. Yeah, the oil doesn't look that dirty. Yeah, there's more coming out of there than I thought. All of the oil is pretty much done draining, and we've decided to. There was a magnet in underneath the fill and drain cap, and that needs cleaned. And from my understanding, there's also a bunch more magnets down underneath this cover. So these are all a 13 millimeter, and there's 15 or 16 bolts to take out, and there's 2 here. This one here, that one, and this one, and these 2 are longer than all the rest. So all the rest should all be the same. And there's little tabs that you pry against to pull this cover off. Oh boy, she's stuck on there. So that's what she looks like. Should be magnets. Oh yeah, I see a little bit of metal on there.
I think is that one?
Yep, that's a magnet there. So both of these surfaces will need cleaned. Look, there's more magnets. One right here. Oh look at all the metal flake. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm glad we're going into this now. It looks really good.
This must be your brake.
Yep, that's your brake. Yep. Alright, well, we'll clean all the rest of this up. So we've got both mating surfaces cleaned up, and we also have red high temp RTV silicone on this top cover here. And we also have the filter in, and as much oil drained out of it as we can. And we are just going to put the piece on just like this, right? And we're not missing anything?
Nope, we got all 3 magnets in place. We had to...
Yeah, we had to pull this one here off, this bolt here, and pull both of these magnets out. We cleaned the filter and pretty much everything, so hopefully this thing is ready to go. Stuck on something. What am I stuck on?
It looks like you're twisted. There you go.
Alright, so let's do the middle ones first. This one and this one. And these were 13s, I think.
So we were unable to find any torque specs for any of these bolts, but usually with castings like this, you work start in the center when you're torquing them and then work your way out. So we started with these 2 and then just went back and forth, alternating, going the whole way around the transaxle.
Sort of in a star pattern.
Yeah.
And you want them pretty tight but not like super tight. So a good, what I did is a good, and that's pretty good. So just not super tight, because remember, you're going into aluminum here, and you do not want to strip this. So I've got the transmissions sitting here on some jack stands. And now's the time to finally put some fluid in the transmission. We've got the whole bottom end all sealed up, and there's good squeeze out the whole way around the bottom of the transmission. So everything should be pretty good there. And Tuff Torque wants you to use their oil, which is probably what this is. And that's, everyone else has said to run 1030 full synthetic motor oil, which is kind of weird. I would think, with it being a hydrostat, that it would be a, something like, say, hydraulic fluid, but I guess not. So I guess that's what they want put in here, so that's what we're going to put in here. And you have to prime this thing whenever you're doing this. So obviously you would put it back in the tractor and then you'd have transmission problems. Well, the reason is because you need to prime the transmission and purge out all the air. So they said that it was going to take 2 or 2.4 quarts to fill this thing up. So I'm going to fill this thing pretty full, and I don't know how much exactly it's going to put in. This is like a brand new 5-quart jug, so I guess whenever I'm done I should be able to tell you guys how much it'll take. And we're not leaking out anywhere, so that's good. And they say that you can use a drill hooked up to this is the input shaft with the belt, and well, even with me turning it, it's going down. But they say to run it with the drill. This is a 1/2-inch Milwaukee drill, and it will not. I can't tighten the chuck down on this, so I just have to push down and turn. Just not too hard. So, this is the forward and reverse for the tractor. This bar right here. So, we're gonna push this forward. Now, there was an emergency brake. And look at that, the wheels are spinning. Definitely spinning. So I'm going to keep adding more oil here and go from there. So I'm at about 2.5 quarts left over in this. Let me think here. Quarts. Just a hair more than 2.5, and that looks to be just about it. I'm going to keep priming this thing. I'm going to put a clamp on this thing to make it easier to use. So I've got a clamp on the forward reverse pedal, or the bar. Well, the wheels are still turning. So that's how you purge the air out of the transmission here.
The reason that you purge the air out of this transmission is obviously since there's air in it, you won't have the proper amount of oil in it. So you must purge out the air with a drill of some sort, because once this transmission is back in here, you cannot add any more oil. I have to say, this process definitely took a lot longer than I was expecting. By the time we made it to this step in this entire process, I finally got tired of filming, and I said, you know what, we're just going to put this on the time lapse. So basically, you guys put this transmission back in the opposite way that it came back out again. And it definitely took more time than I was expecting, but you know, it's one of those things. A new transmission, I think, was about $700, something like that. So obviously we weren't going to go that route. I think this only really cost us maybe $40 to do this. 25 in oil and $20 in the seals. So really not that much, and it beats buying a new transmission. Actually, a lot of the sellers of the aftermarket parts and stuff, it might actually just be easier for you just to buy a whole new machine. So, you know, we saved ourselves some pretty good money here. But I just got tired of filming. It takes so much time doing this, and you know, make sure that we're filming, and then are we not filming, is it in the frame, etc., etc. So I just decided to put this on a time lapse, and hopefully that this will be good enough. I've got to say, I'm obviously really glad we did this. There was no way that we could have used the tractor the way that it was with all the oil leaked out of the transmission, and they don't make things like they used to. Both my brother and I have, my brother has like a 50-year-old tractor, and you don't even have, the axle seals haven't gone on it in 50 years.
So we got the transmission back in the John Deere LA 175, and I've got to say this process would have been much easier if we had removed the deck and we had taken the tires off the transmission. But, you know, we didn't really want to really tear this thing a lot apart, and then, you know, it's more we have to put back together. But one last thing before I forget. This bar, this is the emergency brake bar, and there's this black bracket right inside there. You can see it right at the end of my finger. Make sure that this emergency brake bar is up top, and it is difficult to get it in between because it'll be hanging down here, obviously, and you need to get it on the other side of that black bar. So we actually just took the bar off, slipped the emergency brake bar on top, and then we put this other piece back on, tightened everything back up again. Oh, and if in case anyone's wondering, no oil will come out of that bolt right there. And it's both of those are 10 millimeters, that one there and this one here. So I'm on the left side of the tractor. So I guess without further ado, we are going to start this thing up finally. And you want to do it?
Yeah.
So we have the transmission disengaged. You don't have to sit on it. I disabled the safety seat switch, remember? So you should be able to just I mean, you can sit on it if you want to. It'd be easier. Step in the middle. You want me to... Okay, there you go. So they say to run this thing, the pedal back and forth a few times whenever we first prime. I'm pretty sure I've primed it enough with a cordless drill, but we've got the transmission disengaged, and we're just going to move the pedal, the forward and backward pedal, a few times, and then I'll engage it. So let's see, we should probably shut it off then.
Yeah.
So we'll shut it off, engage this again, and then hopefully we'll see the wheels spin. And you just go back and forth a few times to get everything primed up. Okay? Uh-oh. Do we really have a dead battery in that?
I guess so.
That's a brand new battery.
That is a brand new battery.
All right, we're going to have to jump this thing. As it turns out, I think we either had a loose connection on the battery or the battery cables were, one of them was pretty badly corroded. So hopefully that's all that this was. This tractor has, well, it sat without a battery in it for the whole winter, so I guess those terminals could have corroded throughout the winter, you know. All right, well, let's fire this thing up. Everybody's waiting. All right, well, that's good. Yeah, it's not going to do anything. You're still out of... Oh, you got a little bit of turning. All right, well, that's good. Now you want to shut it off. Boy, it sounds different. All right, so now you're engaged. Start it back up. Hey, look at that. We got some wheel spin. Put it in reverse. Okay, well, that's good. Reverse is reverse and forward is forward. All right, leave it run. I'm going to put the jack down. And then let me pull this out of the way. Leave it run for a bit. Yeah, it needs a good run is what it needs.
Yeah.
Hey, here we go. So this is a pretty good size hill. Well, it seems to go up it okay, so that's good. And the emergency brake does work. There, he's hitting the emergency brake now. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. You happy? It seems to be running better.